Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to episode 14 of Young Justice, Revelation. We begin this episode in Metropolis on October 1st, where a giant plant creature emerges from the ground and starts to attack the city. Elsewhere, a group of 7 villains, calling themselves the Injustice League, decide that it is now time to step into the light. The 7 members of the Injustice League are Count Vertigo, voiced by Steve Bloom, Joker, voiced by Brett Spiner, Poison Ivy, Ultra-Humanite, Wotan, Atomic Skull, and Black Adam. We then cut to Mount Justice, where Robin and Aqualad both manage to figure out that Superboy and Miss Martian have now become a couple. They also realize that Kid Flash and Artemis do not yet realize that Superboy and Miss Martian have become a couple, but they also decide it's not their place to tell anyone. Zatara is serving as the current supervisor of the cave, and Captain Marvel is hanging out around there too. Suddenly, Batman arrives, and he turns the news channel on so that the Young Justice team can be brought up to speed regarding these giant plant creatures, because they're not just attacking Metropolis, they're attacking various locations throughout the world. They also managed to figure out that these plant creatures have cobra venom in them. Thinking back about how a lot of unrelated or otherwise unrelated villains are cooperating with each other, such as Sportsmaster providing Cobra with the blockbuster formula, so Cobra and his group could mix the blockbuster formula with Bane's venom to create Cobra venom. Brain using the inhibitor collars from Bell Rev, as well as the Cobra venom on the animals in the previous episode, Alpha Male. They do realize that these villains are cooperating with each other, and Batman thinks that there is a secret society of these particular villains, or that a specific group of villains had formed together into a secret society. Soon, all the satellites are hijacked so a message could be delivered throughout the world. The Injustice League are the ones responsible, and they demand a ransom of a large sum of money in order to stop the plant creatures. They say there's no time limit, but the longer they wait, the more damage that the plant creatures are going to cause. So Batman actually says that the Justice League will take care of the plant creatures. He's entrusting the Young Justice team to take out the Injustice League, who are obviously going to be where the central control system for these plant creatures. So that's where the Young Justice team are going to go. Zatara questions if the young heroes will really be able to take on the Injustice League, but Batman is confident that they'll do their job spectacularly and that they'll fulfill the mission. When Robin pulls up a holo map, Batman has Zatara use his magic to locate the source of the plant creatures, or the central control for the plant creatures. Since Wotan, being a sorcerer himself, it's suspected that magic is being involved in controlling the plant creatures. And Zatara is successful at finding the central control for the plant creatures, the Louisiana Bayou. And so the Young Justice team set off to fulfill their mission. Captain Marvel wants to go with them, but Batman stops him, mentioning that all of the Justice League members must be present fighting the plant creatures in order for their plan to succeed. So next up, we do get throughout the entire episode, we get various scenes showing us the Justice League and several other heroes that aren't part of the Justice League working together to stop the plant creatures. And we get all the various timestamps for those locations as well. Some of them say October 2nd. I presume that's because of time zone differences. So while that's going on, the main part is with the Young Justice team, who've made it to the Louisiana Bayou, where the Injustice League are hiding out and are controlling the plant creatures from. And Aqualad has a duffel bag with him. When questioned about it, he says it's Plan B. Suddenly, though, some of the members of the Injustice League attack the Young Justice team. And almost all of the members, 4 of them in total, do end up being captured by the Injustice League, or, yeah, they're defeated in battle. Robin and Miss Martian successfully manage to escape, and they're trying to fulfill their mission. As much as they do want to help their teammates, they realize they have to take care of the plant creatures first. But some of the other members of the Injustice League are waiting for them and planning to attack them as well. And it gets to a point where eventually all of the Young Justice team members are gathered together again, and they are able to fight it out with the Injustice League, or most of the members. Joker is actually the one who's controlling the plant creatures, so he's not really taking part in the fight for now. And at one point, Wotan manages to... Wotan manages to subdue all of the Young Justice team members, and Wolf, the White Wolf, who came along with them. The White Wolf that joined Superboy after the events of the previous episode. He joined them on this particular mission, and Superboy decided to just call him Wolf. So it's at this point where Aqualad realizes that they need to put Plan B into motion. What is Plan B? The Helmet of Fate. So Aqualad dons the helmet, thus summoning Dr. Fate, who proceeds to do battle with Wotan. And while this is going on, Robin does manage to attach a lot of explosive bird-arains to the central plant creature to destroy it, which also leads to the destruction of the other plant creatures scattered throughout the world. It's at this point where Joker finally steps into battle with the rest of the Injustice League against the Injustice team. But eventually, the Justice League arrive to help the Injustice team out with this. Joker plans to take everyone down with him and the other Injustice League members. Because we did see this earlier, some of the plant creatures also had Joker gas or Joker toxins added into them. So Joker is planning to unleash his Joker gas on all of them to take them down. But Dr. Fate is able to get rid of the noxious gas before it can do any harm. With the Injustice League members captured, Kid Flash worries that Aqualad will be trapped within the Helmet of Fate. But surprisingly enough, the helmet comes off and Aqualad is freed. He admits that Nabu almost didn't let him go, but the soul of Kent Nelson, who's still residing within the Helmet of Fate, managed to persuade Nabu to let Aqualad go. Aqualad also makes a point to add that Kent says hi to Kid Flash. Batman congratulates the team on their mission, saying that their performance was satisfactory, or met with satisfaction. And then we cut to an unspecified location where we do find out that the Injustice League and the Light are not one and the same. The Injustice League were patsies, they were patsies who took the fall for the Light. The Light's plan was that with the Injustice League serving as their patsies, the Light can continue to the Light can continue with their objectives, with the heroes thinking that they took care of the masterminds behind this plan. And this is where we finally get to see all 7 Light members. The members of the Light are Vandal Savage, voiced by the late Miguel Ferrer, Ra's al Ghul, Lex Luthor, Queen Bee, Ocean Master, Brain, and Clarion. And the episode ends with Vandal Savage saying that their light is still concealed by shadows. So this marks the beginning of the second half of Young Justice, and it starts with quite a bang, actually, with the Injustice League having this worldwide panic with the plant creatures, or more appropriately, the Light are the ones who set out this plant creature global attack, while the Injustice League take the fall for them. And yep, we finally got to see all 7 members of the Light. Now, granted, I'm sure a lot of people knew that the Injustice League and the Light weren't one and the same even before the reveal at the end, but if for whatever reason there was a viewer who was going into this without really knowing, I'm sure that might have been a cool surprise for those particular viewers. And as for the Light members' identities, the members of the Light, what their true identities were, I remember back when all the speculation was happening, a lot of people, if not everyone, managed to guess 6 of the 7 members accurately. Clarion was the one member who no one really, or at least very few people expected to be a member of the Light. So that's what I brought up before with Denial, how that episode was an innocuously important episode it was more important than it led on originally, because Clarion was actually the first Light member that the Young Justice team formally encountered. So, yeah, I have to say, while I did expect... Yeah, I was like most people. I figured out 6 of the 7 Light members' identities beforehand, but I do have to give them credit for throwing that curveball with Clarion being a member of the Light. And I did like Miguel Ferrer as Vandal Savage. It's unfortunate that he's no longer with us now, because that means he won't be able to return to the role for season 3. So we'll have to be patient and see who will take up the role of Vandal Savage with Miguel Ferrer no longer with us. And otherwise, the big deal with this episode, or big debate, a really big debate among the fandom regarding this episode is Joker, or how he's portrayed in this episode, because there's a lot of mixed feelings about Joker in Young Justice. Some people seem to like him fine, but there's a very vocal amount of fans that don't like this portrayal of Joker. And to be honest, though, I'm not one of those fans. I actually quite like this take on Joker, or I don't have anything against this take on Joker at the very least. Like, I do like the DCAU Joker, and I like the Dark Knight Joker a lot, but I don't have anything against this Joker. And usually I see people saying he feels un-Joker-like, but I don't really understand that, because Joker's a character that's had various different performances. Like, sometimes he can be a silly, harmless villain. Sometimes he can be silly, but still dangerous. And other times he can come off as a serious, no-nonsense villain, depending on the adaptation. And to me, this portrayal of Joker, he actually reminded me a lot of the Dark Knight version of Joker, the one played by Heath Ledger. Sure, where I felt the Dark Knight's version of Joker was also a serious, no-nonsense kind of version of the character. That's what I felt here. And I thought Brett Spiner did a good job with this take on Joker. Like, I like Mark Hamill and Heath Ledger the most when it comes to Joker portrayals, but I don't dislike Brett Spiner's performance. I think it's a good performance all the same. So there you go. Like, I know people have mixed feelings about this portrayal of Joker, but I don't personally have any issues with how Joker was portrayed in Young Justice. This was really his only appearance within the TV series itself, at least with regards to Season 1 and Season 2, so who knows if he'll return in Season 3, and who knows if people will change their tune about Joker in Season 3 if he does appear in Season 3. We'll just have to be patient and see what happens. Now, the Injustice League, and the Light, they both represent two big super villain teams, or like villain equivalents to the Justice League. Sometimes, though, the Injustice League can be called the Injustice Game sometimes, so this was a slightly different name for them. And as for the Light, it seems like they are the Secret Society. That's the second group of supervillains from DC, but they went under an adaptational name change. And so I thought that was a cool touch, though. They kind of recognized both those two prevalent evil counterparts for the Justice League. And otherwise, there you go. I thought this was a pretty exciting way to start the second half of Season 1. And it does show you just how cunning the Light are, considering that they actually had some patsies take the fall for them, so they can continue with their objectives, with the heroes letting their guard down a bit. And like I said, I actually didn't have a problem with this portrayal of Joker, even though some people were were not too big of fans regarding this portrayal. But there we go for... Yeah, with that said, we've now discussed episode 14 of Young Justice on this channel. Take care, and until next time.